Clusters can also work in groups. If we have a look underneath here, I have all of my clusters. I can also break them down into groups as well. I'll just take the ones with materials on them. I'm going to create a group. Now, why would I want to create groups out of these? I can do a number of things. The first is much easier for me to select either at the scene level, but also I can apply properties over this. If I were to here simply hit render, you can see that. If I just show to shaded mode, I can now apply a property to the entire group. So perhaps I want to override the material here and make it all one color. So a group is defining a selection set of clusters, but also to have properties applied to it, such as material. But because a group is overriding the original materials on the objects, as soon as I were to delete the group, they would go back to their original materials. I can also add to groups. So going back into my cluster list here, if I wanted to add this to the group, I can select the group and go add to group. I can also use the plus and minus key here as well. There we go, add to group. Select my purple, select my group, remove from group. Select the entire group, delete, and we go and get rid of all the properties. It's the same with the clusters. If I were to create a new cluster and then have these two clusters together, I can start to create groups. So I now have a second group. I can also use this to select the members of the group, and there we go, they get selected like so. With the cluster selected and I select members, it goes back to the original. If I were to select, say, some additional areas here, or a cluster, see, I can select cluster, grab this. I can also add or remove it using the plus and minus down here. So a combination of groups for selecting, defining cluster selections, or for things like materials, just adds a whole load of flexibility and control